Tonight, when the sun goes down, you'll probably flip a light switch without even thinking about it. Instantly, your room will be filled with light. You might watch TV, scroll through your phone, answer emails, or stay awake long past midnight. But for nearly all of human history, none of that was possible. For more than 300,000 years, every one of your ancestors spent roughly half of their lives in darkness. There were no streetlights, no light bulbs, no smartphones, and for most of that time, not even candles. Once the sun disappeared below the horizon, the world became almost completely black. So what did people actually do every night? The answer reveals something surprising about human evolution, sleep, storytelling, and even the way our brains were designed to work. It all begins with fire. The earliest convincing evidence that humans controlled fire comes from Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, dating back around 1 million years. Fire didn't just provide warmth or help cook food. It completely transformed human life. Before fire, our ancestors lived much like other primates. When darkness arrived, activity stopped. Night belonged to predators. Lions, hyenas, leopards, wolves, and other hunters could easily navigate the darkness, while humans struggled to see only a few feet ahead. Staying alive meant finding shelter and remaining still. Fire changed everything. A campfire created a small circle of protection. Most predators avoided approaching open flames, giving humans something they had never enjoyed before: a relatively safe place after sunset. That safety created something even more valuable: extra time. Instead of ending the day when the sun disappeared, early humans suddenly had several additional hours together every evening. Over thousands of generations, those extra hours changed the course of civilization. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent years studying the Jew/Hoansi people of the Kalahari Desert, whose traditional lifestyle closely resembles that of ancient hunter-gatherers. Her findings were remarkable. During daylight hours, conversations focused almost entirely on survival. People discussed hunting, gathering food, repairing tools, sharing resources, and planning the next day's work. But once everyone gathered around the evening fire, the conversations transformed. Stories replaced schedules. People shared adventures, family histories, myths explaining the origins of the world, humorous tales, and lessons passed from one generation to the next. The campfire became humanity's first classroom, first theater, and first social network. Long before books existed, knowledge traveled through stories told beneath the stars. Many researchers believe these nightly storytelling sessions helped strengthen cooperation, preserve culture, and develop the imagination that eventually allowed humans to build civilizations. But storytelling wasn't the only thing happening after dark. Something even more fascinating happened later in the night. Modern Americans often believe healthy sleep means getting 7 or 8 uninterrupted hours. If you wake up around 2 o'clock or 3 a.m., many assume something is wrong. History suggests otherwise. Historian Roger Kirch spent over 16 years examining historical documents from Europe and beyond. He discovered hundreds of references describing a completely different sleeping pattern. People regularly referred to first sleep and second sleep. This wasn't poetry or metaphor. It was their normal routine. People typically went to bed shortly after sunset, slept for about 4 hours, naturally woke for 1 or 2 hours, and then returned to bed for another 4 hours before sunrise. The middle of the night wasn't considered unusual. It was simply part of life. During this quiet period, people prayed, reflected on dreams, visited neighbors, read by candlelight if they could afford it, or simply lay awake thinking. Medical texts from centuries ago even suggested this peaceful period was one of the best times for reflection and learning because the mind was calm and free from the distractions of the day. For generations, historians overlooked these references because modern readers assumed people had always slept the way we do today. Then science caught up with history. In the early 1990s, psychiatrist Dr. Thomas Ware conducted an experiment at the National Institute of Mental Health. Volunteers lived for several weeks without artificial evening light. Instead, they experienced about 14 hours of darkness each night, similar to winter conditions before electricity. Within a few weeks, every participant naturally settled into the same pattern described in centuries-old historical records. They slept for roughly 4 hours. They woke naturally for 1 to 3 peaceful hours. Then they fell asleep again until morning. Nobody instructed them to follow this schedule. Their bodies simply returned to it. Even more interesting, blood tests showed elevated levels of prolactin during the waking period, a hormone associated with relaxation, calmness, and meditation. Participants described feeling unusually peaceful rather than frustrated. It wasn't insomnia. It appeared to be an ancient biological rhythm hidden beneath modern life. So what changed? The answer was artificial light. Beginning in the 1600s, cities gradually introduced street lighting. Candles became cheaper. Gas lamps illuminated neighborhoods during the 1800s. Then, in 1879, electric lighting began spreading across homes and businesses. Within only a few generations, humans completely transformed the night. Instead of darkness signaling rest, light allowed people to work, socialize, and stay awake for hours after sunset. Today, the average American spends several hours every evening under bright artificial lighting while looking at televisions, computers, or smartphones. Our brains cannot fully distinguish between sunlight and artificial light. Blue light from digital screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone responsible for preparing the body for sleep. As a result, our internal clocks shift later into the night. Researchers have found that people who spend just 1 week camping without artificial light experience dramatic changes in their circadian rhythms. Their bodies begin releasing melatonin much earlier, often close to sunset, just as our ancestors likely did for thousands of generations. The human body quickly remembers its natural schedule. Perhaps the biggest change wasn't simply when we sleep. It was what disappeared altogether. For thousands of years, humans experienced a peaceful period of quiet wakefulness between 2 separate sleeps. A time for reflection, prayer, creativity, or simply sitting beneath a sky filled with countless stars. Most of us never experience that state anymore. Instead, if we wake during the night, we often panic, check the time, grab our phones, and worry that something is wrong. Maybe our ancestors would have found that strange. For nearly all of human history, darkness wasn't an inconvenience. It was a way of life. Families gathered around fires, shared stories that preserved culture, looked up at a sky untouched by city lights, and followed rhythms shaped by nature rather than electricity. The Milky Way wasn't a destination for a camping trip. It was simply the night sky above every home. Modern technology has brought extraordinary comfort, safety, and opportunity. Few people would willingly give up electric lights or modern conveniences. But it's worth remembering that our bodies, and perhaps even our minds, were shaped by hundreds of thousands of years spent living very differently. Every evening, with the flip of a switch, we erase the darkness that defined nearly all of human history. And in doing so, we may have left behind more than we realize.